welcome everyone. Today's deep dive is all about adapting corporate travel programs to the post-pandemic landscape. And as a note, we are recording today's conversation and we'll be sending a recording to all registrants of the webinar. I'd like to jump straight on in and meet our panel. I'm Shelby Dwyer. I'm a report author here at TravelBank, and I've been researching the long-term effects of the pandemic on corporations. And I'm joined today by experts from TravelBank and Delta Airlines. Kara, could you introduce yourself?
Nice to meet everyone virtually today. My name is Kara Bates, and I am on the customer success team here at TravelBank. Prior to transitioning into the tech and software as a service solution space, I spent the first 10 years of my career in the financial and operations sector of higher ed. So while there, I held various positions at both MIT and Boston University. More recently at Boston University, I served as their director of travel services, where they brought me on to reevaluate and modernize the school's business expense reimbursement process and also their unmanaged corporate travel program. So I've served as both a project manager and business owner for multiple travel and expense system implementations and have successfully taken those large scale, so 10,000 plus user complex project to the earliest planning phases to production in some highly matrixed and pretty change adverse environments. Leading system rollouts with super lean project teams has required me to take on a variety of roles and makes me acutely aware of the challenges our customers face when rolling out a new solution to their teams. I'm very passionate about using technology as a tool to optimize administrative processes and love using this previous experience to act as a consolidated business partner to my clients.
Thank you so much. And Fouad, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, hi, everybody. Thanks first, Shelby and the TravelBank team for the invite. I really appreciate it. I know it takes more than 30 days to prepare a 30 minutes webinar as such. Hi, everyone. So my name is Fouad Mehdaoui. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm program manager here with Delta Airlines with the online distribution strategy team. I've been with the company for 11 years. Prior to that, I was with our siblings, Air France-KLM, for another 10. Always touching corporate travel in different roles. My current role today is managing a portfolio of digital TMCs. TravelBank is one of them. And also I work with our partners to enhance our customer shopping experience in what we call the next generation storefront, which is a new display model that departs from showing our customers just the lowest fare to a model that shows our customers all available Delta products and our competitors' products all in one view, one glance, in one shot. So glad to be here with you. And Shelby, I know you did a lot of research and you got a lot of stats and findings that you got to share with us. So let's dive into them.
Yeah, thank you, Fouad, and thank you both for joining. Like he mentioned, we've been thinking about this for a while, and in preparation for this deep dive, we've analyzed TravelBank's application user data, we've interviewed our customer base, and we surveyed hundreds upon hundreds of finance and HR leaders. And the absolute foremost trend is that remote work is not going away. We're seeing that 74% of US companies are permanently adopting a work model that's either fully remote or hybrid. So people are spending at least 2 days remote and otherwise going to an office. But the paradox we see inside of that is that while it feels like everyone's at the home office, many more cohorts of employees are traveling for team meetings and on-sites, company-wide meetings, QBRs. And we see that companies are struggling to manage this and manage that extra demand. I'm curious, Kara, how you find hybrid companies can manage that extra demand for their employees.
Absolutely. Well, especially in a hybrid environment too, sort of gone are the days where you walk up to your manager's desk and ask, what am I allowed to book? What am I supposed to do? So really leveraging a TMC partnership and a booking platform where you can build in your sort of policies and approvals into the actual booking process. So you're able really to take sort of a hands-off approach and gently guide your travelers to do what they're supposed to be doing in the first place. And additionally, offering them a platform that's going to remind them sort of the policies, how they need to be booking, what level of hotel they're allowed to stay in, depending on the type of travel they're doing. And additionally to that, centralizing everything through a single platform gives you sort of the visibility and transparency transparency to see where your travelers are spending, maybe who you're using most frequently as vendors, and really take a look at, okay, if I have some pre-existing relationships, are they worth it? And if they are worth it, am I in a better position, especially now that I have this reportable data, to negotiate even better rates in the future? And then really the third thing there is to discover potential vendor partnerships you might not even have known were possible previously, now that you just have that visibility into the spend. And really sort of the last piece that I'd recommend is being able to proactively report on where your folks are going and really being able to partner with them and giving them a heads up of things going on. I'll use my sort of home base as Boston as an example. We have a major tunnel that goes to the airports in Boston, Logan, that's going to be closed for pretty much the entire summer. So being able to see, who's flying out of Boston and who needs to build in that extra 2 hours of buffer time when they leave their house to get to their flight really is a huge benefit of leveraging that managed program.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you mentioned about visibility, even department wide, seeing if these travel trends are lumpy and some departments are extremely heavy and some are barely getting together once a year, could be an opportunity for intervention and kind of culture for both parties. The second trend we saw is that the business travelers have changed, and business programs used to be tailored to, quote unquote, road warriors, often in sales or the revenue team. But now all this intra-office travel means more staff outside of sales are traveling, and they're not as fluent in policies, company booking tools, expense reporting in general. Fouad, do you think we need to think of travelers and their needs differently today, business travelers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to reiterate Delta's commitment to business travel. So Delta is a customer-centric brand. So everything the Delta team does here is with the customer at the core of everything we do throughout the travel ribbon, from shopping all the way to baggage claim and beyond. I'll share as a supplier for air, I'll share some of the I would say the evolution of some of the initiatives that the Delta team took over the pandemic. So one of which is the shopping experience, enhancing the shopping experience. At Delta, we are channel agnostic. So if our customers want to shop on delta.com, that's great. If they want to shop on TravelBank, that's even greater. But we want to make sure whatever they're shopping, they're getting the best value, and they get to see the choices, and it's also done in a transparent manner. Second is Delta went ahead and put billions of dollars investments in airport facilities and the onboard experience to make the life of the new the life of travel, or corporate travel in the new era much more easier. I'll touch, if you've been through LaGuardia, LAX, Seattle, Salt Lake City, you probably have seen some of the state-of-the-art terminals. And if you've been to Detroit, and this is a fun fact, I don't know if you've seen it or not, if you've been through Detroit, we deployed what's called parallel reality for connecting passengers, which is a new technology by just scanning your boarding pass. You'll be looking at a giant board that in the past, it has a lot of connecting flights info, but this time it will only show you personalized travel connections that are personalized to you, including the time it's going to take you to walk to your gate. And the fun part is, if there's 100 passengers standing next to you, they cannot see what you're seeing. It's tailored to you, and everybody's get to see only their connection, information. Another area also that have come up through the pandemic is loyalty. So we understand the value of loyalty, and then our SkyMiles program has been very valuable. But today it goes way beyond just earning miles, to earn award tickets later. We partnered with world-class brands. So today, if your employees are traveling, let's say they take a lift from home to the airport, they get to the airport, they buy a latte at Starbucks, they get on a flight, they arrive, they go rent a car from Hertz, go to Marriott, and then before they return, they order groceries on Instacart. They're earning miles across all those partners. It's no longer the era of earning miles because you took a flight, but it is the times today is you're earning those miles, and improve that loyalty now and the rewards that come with it throughout the travel ribbon.
It's really interesting. I'm curious, Kara, too, how companies can rethink duty of care in this era?
Yeah, absolutely. What's great too is what I've seen previously, especially for my background in higher ed, is you'd go out and purchase a separate sort of duty of care tool. What's great is now we have platforms like TravelBank that have those tools built in platform. So at TravelBank, we have something called the travel tracker. So that as an admin or a travel manager sort of gives me the insight to see, all right, I have X amount of people going to this location, and really preemptively, things happen. Allows me to kind of plan for if something, an act of God happens, and allow me to work with my TMC partners, with my agent partners, to either get people out quickly or reschedule and rearrange travel as needed.
Yeah, but generally just being more proactive, it sounds like,
Exactly.
and having more visibility. I guess that's the theme. Teeing that up, actually, our third finding is about seeing group travel growing and that people are traveling in large cohorts, and negotiating these group rates obviously can save a ton of money, but it's very time intensive to scale and manage, especially for distributed workforces where people are not leaving from a singular city, but are coming in from all over. Fouad, are you guys seeing this at Delta, that there's also a rise in group travel, corporate group travel?
Yeah, totally consistently, especially post-pandemic. And I think that makes sense that, that in-person connection is still valuable. A lot of companies, including here at Delta, we still have our own annual, get together. And I think that's going to continue with on-sites. And related to your findings earlier, 74%, that's a pretty high number of companies that are hybrid. So you're going to need to get those employees at some point or another, including new employees for training or what have you, together at some place. Yeah, so here at Delta, we have developed several solutions for our corporate, accounts, different sizes. So if you are a contracted account with Delta, you have a contract in place. We've got what's called Edge meetings, Delta Edge meetings, which you get discounts. There's a rebate at the end of completing the travel. It allows several people from your company to go to the same destination. They don't have to all come from the same origin, as long as they meet in the same destination. For accounts that have Sky Bonus or even not have any agreement with Delta, we've got Delta Meetings Network. And then if you're taking your employees to Cancun or somewhere international, we've got Sky Team Global Meetings. There's more info on delta.com/meetings if you need to learn more about that.
That's really interesting. And Kara, what would you recommend to scale group travel and make it more manageable with a distributed workforce?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, and Fouad mentioned it really eloquently, different vendors, so be it airlines, hotels, have different cutoffs when it comes to what they consider group travel. So someone that might necessarily have an extensive amount of event planning or group travel planning experience might not be familiar with those nuances, which makes the process even more time consuming. So I would always recommend leverage your TMC, leverage your agent partners. A lot of times these folks already have pre-existing relationships in the locations you want to visit. I had a client that was actually having their annual offsite in San Francisco. And what was amazing is our lead agent had a bunch of pre-existing relationships with several hotel properties. So right off the bat, we were able to cut out that hotel RFP process for them. We had 3 properties queued up ready to go. We were able to ask and take care of AV needs, able to coordinate shuttles and transportation, and really just took a lot off an already busy admin's plate. So that would be my biggest thing, like lean on your TMC, lean on your booking platform, because they're in the industry and you never know what locations they have these pre-existing sort of bespoke discounts or pre-existing relationships with. And definitely too, again, as you both mentioned, people are leaving from all different airports. So the different arrival, different departure locations sort of gives it a whole nother level of complexity when it comes to planning those quarterly offsites, those annual meetings.
Oh, really interesting. The fourth trend we've seen is that travel programs need to proactively plan for supporting and rebooking travelers. We know in Q1 this year, 1 in 4 flights were delayed, most often from weather. Kara, how can companies support employees as they travel?
Absolutely. And I'm guilty of this myself. I think I mentioned to you both during one of our practice runs, my first conference speaking engagement, I scheduled my flight to arrive the day I was presenting. guess who missed their speaking engagement? So really to being able to advise your travelers or using your partner TMC or agent team to advise your travelers, build in buffer time around meeting and conferences. As much as we hate them, delays happen. So really being able to assist with best practice, like don't plan to arrive 2 hours before the meeting. You're going to cause yourself a lot of undue stress. And then what's great too, especially like if you have a TMC partner like TravelBank, our agents will proactively work closely with airlines to try to pre-book you or try to preemptively reroute you if we know of an issue happening or something that's going to occur in a geological location where your travelers are going to be going to. And again, once your traveler's on the road, you don't want them to be stranded. You want them to feel like they have resources, they have someone to reach out to. And that's where TMC comes in handy as well, because that's where you're getting into the 24/7 agents that are available by phone. And you don't want to be the person sitting on the line with a hotel to rebook for a couple hours, with an airline to rebook for a couple hours. Take that off your traveler's plate and let your TMC partner do that for you.
I feel like the stress leave my body, imagining, something going awry with my travel plans and not clutching my hotel voucher in the line. I've been there too many times. And, Fouad, I think it's worth mentioning, of course, Delta's on-time arrival rate. Can you tell us more about Delta's approach to this operational excellence and performance?
Yeah, totally, Shelby. So we're in June, and June is National Safety Month. So before even I unpack this slide, which has a lot of data points, I want to reiterate that Delta team, everything we do here and striving for that, operational performance excellence is with safety at top of mind. So Delta has been leading the pack for the last 10 years in on-time performance, on-time arrivals, and leading within our competitors here in the United States, global competitors, I would say, which is an AA and UA for the last 11 years. So at Delta, I'm going to share a fun fact how the Delta team tends to do that in one area. So for example, Delta is the only US carrier that still has a meteorology department that's in-house. So we've got that team scanning weather globally and then anticipating within the next 2 weeks or so if there's going to be a hurricane season. If it's hurricane season in Florida, it's going to be a sizable hurricane that's going to disrupt travel. If it's going to be a winter storm in Detroit, JFK, what have you. So that they alert the commercial teams here, and because we know it's going to be disruptions, going to be cancellations, delays. So they alert commercial division, and then we issue waivers. That's I personally, for example, in the case of TravelBank, I send it to you guys, and then you reach out to your customers. And then you give them the options, usually within flexibility of a 2 to 3 weeks, to move their travel plans. So we avoid that situation that I think Kara described earlier at the airport, getting there a little late and then missing the flights. Or in this case, if there's cancellations, our customers showing up and then there is no flights, and then that whole agony of going through, in line, going lines at the airport, trying to reach either the airline or your travel agency. So we kind of mitigate all that proactively, so our customers would never get to that situation like that.
That's wonderful. The fifth trend, and the last one we're presenting today, is that we do see, luckily, that there is very clear evidence that a smartly managed travel program will produce measurable ROI. Kara, what are some ways you've seen clients optimize their budget and get that better ROI specifically from their travel program?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, unused tickets can represent 5 to 7% of a company's travel budget. So especially where if you're unmanaged, that's a sunk cost, right? You don't know they exist. They're out there in the ether. So what's a great benefit of using a TMC, a managed travel platform, is that you get more, again, centralization and transparency, where you can remind your travelers, hey, you have this flight credit from this meeting you had to reschedule, or this thing, something came up, you had to cancel. What's great in the TravelBank platform, our travelers, when they go in to book, they have an unused credit flight count. So right there, when they go to book, they're being reminded to use it. And you're just cutting down that loss right on top, right? And even in addition to that, we have reporting. So we have a suite of reporting insights called Premium Insights. Travel managers, your platform administrators can pull a report of unused tickets or credits to make sure you're nudging the right people. Like, hey, I know we have a meeting coming up. Make sure you use this credit on Delta. Additionally, if you have someone, again, especially for small to medium-sized businesses, you might not have a dedicated travel manager. It could be someone in operations, HR that might not have an extensive travel background implementing a managed platform. Our implementation team walks our clients through any airline programs, any vendor programs that they would qualify for at current volumes, and just acts as a strategic business partner and really pulls on our experience in the industry to make sure they're set up for success, even if you might not have a traditional travel manager at your organization. And lastly, too, I had mentioned a little earlier, negotiated rates with hotel vendors, airlines. If you're a smaller organization, or if you're going from completely unmanaged to managed, you might not have any of those. So what's great is about going into a TMC partnership, adopting a booking platform, is that we have pre-existing negotiated rates and pre-existing partnerships that you can leverage and take advantage. So they're plug and play. You're already going to get that discounted rate just from being associated with us.
Yes, and 20,000 other organizations that use us. Yes. Great. I also want to talk about the Delta Corporate Loyalty Program. Fouad, could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it's called Sky Bonus. It's a free program to sign up for. So if you have at least $5,000 in spending a year and you got 5 unique travelers traveling, I think you're leaving money on the table, just like Kara was explaining in terms of, additional savings or hidden savings. Yeah, so the program is, I think it's waived. Yeah, it is waived for the first year. So those 5 travelers and 5,000s. And then your employees basically will be earning their own Sky miles, and then the company itself will be earning points. Those points can later be used as awards for, award tickets, upgrades, and what have you. And another side probably that most people don't know about with this program is when you are a Sky Bonus member, your employees, they always have what's called the Sky Bonus ID in their PNR that TravelBank will add in. And that allows our folks at the airport to know this is a corporate travel. This trip is for corporate, for corporate travel. So in the case of IRAPs and what have you, that can help a lot our teams, prioritize your employees in terms of the list of travelers, and managing the IRAP situation. So I think the value is not only, awards and points, what to be used for, but also for us as airlines to recognize that that's a corporate traveler versus a leisure travel.
Right. And even extending, additional care as they travel and as they need support. That's wonderful. So we've pulled together a handful of takeaways. I'm curious, Kara, as a travel manager, like what would you do tomorrow to kind of implement some of this research?
First and foremost, leverage your TNC, lean on your agency partners to get those preferred rates. Also to help you analyze if any pre-existing relationships, should you let that contract management go and pursue others? And additionally, shoulder the manual work. Don't have your travelers be the ones sitting on the phone with their airlines or their hotels rebooking. Make sure they're using your agency. And additionally, too, your agencies have these built-in relationships that'll help you build and scale really time-consuming processes like group travel or meeting coordination. Secondly, ensure your employees have a human to talk to 24/7. They don't want to feel like they're out on the road and they're on their own. Make sure they know someone has their back and that someone is your TMC and your agency partner.
Not a chatbot.
Exactly. And really the last one is, and I found success doing this when I was a travel manager, and I see some of my most successful clients do this as well. Build in travel policy training, agency partnership awareness into employee onboarding, and offer regular training sessions around it. So when you have your infrequent travelers or your folks hitting the road for the first time, they feel supported, they know where to go, and most importantly, they don't book outside platform.
And Fouad, how about you?
Yeah, I would echo everything Kara said and maybe summarize it. And if you have a travel program existing, go ahead and review it and make sure that it's delivering value to the employees, not just a price points. And I'm talking mainly about like policies that were based on cabins or hotel stars in the past. And those should kind of transform into what we call a budget-based policy. So that drives like trust between the employee and the company, that drives more compliance for travel policy, and it doesn't impact budgets because budgets will stay the way it is, but then it helped the company also with talent acquisition, retention. And also, I mean, for travel managers, quick advice, if I may, I mean, if their job definitely has become more complex post-pandemic. And I think in the future, it was probably in silos and it was okay. But I think now finance and HR should be part of that travel program picture for a 360 view on how is the employees are feeling when they're on the road, given all the employee wellness programs that got launched at least post-pandemic at many organizations. So I think the travel program is no longer just a one program within a company, but it is an important and intricate component of the company at large. Second one, I would say, I mean, give us an opportunity to serve your customers. The Delta team is eager to serve your employees and then show them the value of travel and then cut all that stress out of it. Hopefully we'll see you on board one of these days.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
These findings and more are coming in our new research guide. We will send a copy of the report to all registrants along with the recording from today's conversation. Thank you to Fouad and Kara for your time and your expertise today. Thank you to all of our attendees. If you want to learn more about TravelBank, you can visit travelbank.com or always email success@travelbank.com and a human will reply. Thanks everyone for joining.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.